because we got 5 games back to back in a tough, physical Big Ten conference. So my thing is talking to the team that we gotta match our opponent physicality, and starting this week with Illinois. Illinois 17 ranked team is a well-deserved ranking. They have a really physical rushing game with Chase Kid. Chase Brown Kid. He's a really good runner, but they're really good on defense. You know, they top in the country in every category. They have a really good scheme. They're well coached and they stick to their guns. So this week, you know, we're going to need our fans on this one. We're going to need our fans to be loud and help us out a little bit. Questions?
Hey, Mickey, can you give an update on Nick Henrich?
Nick's going to be out. Nick's going to be out.
Is he out for the year?
He's out for the year.
What kind of, was it a knee, ankle, leg, or what type of knee?
Knee.
With injuries, real quick too, will you get Brock Bando back, and what's Kevin Williams' situation?
Well, Kevin's rehabbing right now, and so is Bando, but Bando's closer than Kevin.
Mickey, the last time you guys had a bye, you were going into the bye off of lost to Oklahoma, and now you're coming in off 2 good performances and almost winning on the road in the Big Ten. I mean, did it feel different? Did it change how you guys kind of worked during the bye now that you're finding the success?
Well, we had to get him healthy. We had to get him some rest. I understand what Casey said in his presser after the game. He needed to rest his body. So what we try to do is be smart with him, you know, during the bye week, you know, and get him out there, but also, you know, take the pads off and take the hitting off him. Okay, I'm done.
What makes their pass defense so good? Why are they so good?
Well, my dad always said men and women lie, numbers don't. So their number proved that they're pretty good. They're top 5 in every category, and it's a really sound defense. They don't do much, but what they do it very well. Very well. They do it good.
Because they've got both sacks and they've intercepted, I think, 12 passes.
Mm-hmm.
Which means they're kind of doing both things. That can sometimes be rare. Is there something that they're doing well to get all the interceptions?
Well, like I said, they don't do much. So they go, you know, you got this man and you're going to be over this center and let's play football. And it's simple, but like I said, they do it well and they well coach with their technique. So their technique is really good.
After the game that Trey put on film, I mean, how much are you expecting teams to really go out of their way to make sure that doesn't happen again? And how do you combat that with some extra time to think about it?
Well, you know, if you look at it, you know, he had a really good game. But you would think that Illinois they're gonna do what they do, and they play man coverage, and they might try to bracket him, but I'm sure he's gonna get more attention for the game that he had.
Anthony Grant's numbers have been down the last couple of games, but is that more of a concern about the blocking in front of him and just sort of how those games have played out, or what do you feel about Anthony and kind of getting him going out there?
Well, we got to get him going. We got to do a better job up front, you know, blocking and finding plays that we're comfortable blocking and finding plays that he's comfortable running. So we got to do a better job as a coaching staff to get that done. And we worked on that. The coordinator stayed in this week off the road from recruiting, so they worked on that. So maybe we can get this thing going this week. We got to get him going. You're right.
Mickey, how do you feel about the offensive line after the bye week? Did they get a chance to regroup a little bit? And are you feeling a little better about them?
Well, we beat up. You know, we beat up front. You know, we down a couple of starters, but I feel good about them. I feel good about the bye week they had, and I felt good about their practice this morning. So they still giving us really good effort, and they really practicing really hard.
Mickey, what's the opportunity with some of your other receiving options to exploit that situation if opponents do start paying extra attention to what Trey does?
Well, it's probably a situation what I went through at LSU. You know, about the 4th game of the season, they started doubling Jefferson, and then Chase went off, then Terrence Marshall went off, then Clyde Allaire went off. So we're going to have options if they take Trey away. If they try to take Trey away, there's nothing we can do about it. But the other guys know they got to play football if that happens.
Mickey, you say Illinois does a good job of sticking to its guns. If you make that a Nebraska discussion, what's that mean? If you're sticking to your guns, what's that mean?
Well, we gotta try to score points. We gotta try to score points fast. I know everybody want to talk about the time of possession, but the offense scored 37 points, and I can't go to the offense and say don't score in a minute. You know, I gotta let them score. You know, and the defense understands that. So the time of possession was a little off, but I think sticking to our guns, do what we do. We want to throw the football. We want to throw the football, but we got to get Anthony going this week. We got to get him going. We got to get a running game going this week.
What was the week like for you guys just recruiting and getting out there and a lot of offers? And could you just talk about sort of where that's going and your staff just continually hitting it even in this situation?
Well, like I said before, when I first took this thing over, is that we're going to do things the right way. We're not going to sabotage the program. We're going to go out and work like we're going to be here. So we send our coaches out. I think in California, it was in Massachusetts. I was in Atlanta. I was in Arizona. Fisher's in Florida, Dallas. So we went out. We went out as a staff. We kept the coordinators in. The offensive, defensive coordinators in. But we're going to recruit and find the pieces that we need. And so we're going to go heavy JUCO when it comes to the offensive line.
How big can the JUCO angle be? With the portal era, sometimes people didn't know exactly what was going to happen with junior college recruiting, but how useful is that still and important is that part?
I think the JUCO part is really important because you're getting the kid coming out of system. You get a kid coming out of portal, he's transferring for a reason. JUCO kid, you're recruiting him just like a high school kid. But a portal kid, he's transferring. There's a reason he's transferring. So you got to do more homework on a portal kid than you have to do a JUCO kid. JUCO kid, you can go to the coach and say, hey, you've been having it for 2 years. Tell me about it. But when a portal kid, now we got to go all the way back to high school to see what's the problem with this kid. Why is he transferring?
Did you get a chance to see Vance in Arizona?
I did. I had a chance to see Vance and listen to him about his 2 pick 6. So he did a good job. He did a good job Thursday night. I told him he did.
How much have you relied on outside people like him? I don't know if you've talked to Coach O, but obviously he's been in the situation, interim coach multiple times. What kind of value do those two in particular have they had in these 5 or 6 weeks?
Which Coach O, just speaking with Coach O, he always tells me just be myself. Make sure they get Mickey, and he knows there's nothing fake about me. I'm gonna be Mickey. I'm not, because at the end of the day, I can go back to Baton Rouge and that nice house in Baton Rouge and chill out. So I'm gonna be Mickey.
Sorry. You got Malachi Coleman this weekend.
I wasn't finished answering that question.
Okay. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
I'm just joking with you, man. You always uptight. But no, you're right. We got Malachi.
Have you had a chance to talk to him?
Yes.
How'd that conversation go?
Well, he said it 6 months ago he wasn't coming here. So you put the pieces together.
Mickey, it's a little bit of a 5-week stretch here to end the season. What are you looking for in terms of intensity from the team to get through that 5-week
Well,
stretch?
a lot of energy, but we need to execute. With this football team's a really good football team when we execute in all 3 phases. So we're preaching to them that we need to execute. We need to execute the game plan.
How far away are you in terms of getting to the physicality you are looking for, and has it gotten better?
No, it's gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot better. I mean, I like where they are right now. It's gotten a lot better.
How much better does it need to be to elevate for where we want?
I mean, it's got to be up there, because they're a physical football team. So we got to match their physicality.
I want to give you a chance to finish the answer that you started here. We talked to Coach O. Who else?
Well, yeah, Ogeron, he was really good. And like you said, be yourself. And then, with Vance gives you, just the plugs of being a head coach because he was head coach in Denver and it didn't go so well for him. So some of the things that he said he should have done that I need to do. But he always says, do it your way. He said, because then you won't regret anything if you do it your way.
Is there something that you can share with us, that he shared with you about something you would have done differently that you are doing differently?
Well, he shared this, and I'll leave it like this. I'm not going to make the decision if I get the job. I'm not going to make the decision. That's going to be the administration that's going to make the decision if I get the job or not. So I got to just continue to get this team to get better every week and try to win football games.
What conversations maybe have you had in the last couple of weeks with Trev, even the 5 weeks or anything like that?
Just a normal meeting on Sunday. That's it.
You think about Villanova coach teams, what comes to mind first? I mean, are there any defining elements that are consistent over time?
Yeah, facing him when I was at LSU, he was at Arkansas. He's a very physical team. He wants to run the football. but he's physical across the board, offense and defense. He does a really good job with the defense and offensive line. He always had really good players in the offense and defensive line, so you can see that now in Illinois that they have really good players on both sides of the ball in the trenches.
With the Henrich injury, how valuable is a guy like Chris Galarovich, who's been around for a while, and just some of those younger guys behind him? How do you feel about that group as a whole?
Well, they got to step up. They understand that. You know, they played snaps. You know, after Chris went down, Chris and Vada played a number of snaps. Then Ernest went in. So all three of those guys got to step up.
Feeling good about where Reimer's at? I know he's dinged.
Yeah, I feel good about Luke. Luke's back. I feel good about Luke.
After Anthony Grant, what does that number 2 running back spot look like? I know you've been a little shorthanded there the last few games.
Well, it'll be Yanni Ramir. You know, until Gabe gets his, feels better with his turf toe, but it'll be Yanni and Ramir.
Chase Brown gets a lot of the attention on their offense, but obviously Tommy DeVito has had a pretty good season. What's kind of stood out on film when you watch him play?
Well, it's another 6-year senior, 24 years old. I mean, he's going to have a lot of experience. He's going to know where to go with the ball, but he's a general. He controls that offense, and they know how to use him. And he's really good when they're running the football, but he won't make mistakes, and that's what we're going against again. That a guy under the center that's not going to make mistakes.
How do you force a guy like that to make mistakes?
I guess I'll be able to tell you Saturday night about 6:30.
Hey, pursuant to the question about other receivers having to step up if teams double cover Trey, how do you feel like Marcus and Oliver and Brody and Alante have been playing in the last 4 weeks?
I thought they've been playing pretty well. I thought they've been playing well. I thought they've been open. They've been open on occasions, and I think Oliver, he always comes to the sideline and says, make him open. And when I look at the film on Sunday, he is open. He's a kid that can run with really good receiver skills. And Brody and Marcus, they understand what's going to happen if they double Trey, what they need to do. And Alante also.
You've coached a lot of fast receivers. Is Trey's top end speed towards the top of the guys you've coached?
He's the fastest.
Faster than all those.
He's faster than all those guys, yeah.
Why wasn't it able to click for him at LSU like it is right now at Nebraska?
Well, I think because Justin Jefferson, Terrence Marshall, a lot of NFL guys were in that room, and over there you had to wait. And so he was in a loaded room. If you look at it, all those guys are in the league. Racy McMath, Derek Dillon, Stephon Sullivan, all those kids are in the league. So it was clicking there, but you had to really come to practice every single day and get it done. If not, the next guy was going to pass you up. So I think he grew up here. He grew up and he matured here when he got here, and he understand, okay, this is what I need to do to get better. Because remember now, Trey's been the best player on the field from the age of 5 all the way to 17 until he got to college. So it's hard for him to I got to compete every down now. Jamar had to learn that. Terrence had to learn that. Jefferson had to learn. They all had to learn that. And Trey just happened to be in a room with some first rounders.
Has Malcolm Hartsock continued to show you, he's still making plays,
Mm-hmm.
and as a true freshman, what kind of attributes does he have that, other than the physical side that allowed him to get on the field so quickly?
Well, he's a strong-minded kid. He's a kid out of Mississippi. Tough kid, get after you, but he's smart. He's smart. He understands the coverage. He understands leverage, and he's getting better every day in practice. He's getting better, and he understands that he's a freshman and that they're going to throw at him. He understands that, and he welcomes the challenge.
Coach, last 3 games, you guys have been able to make really effective second half adjustments. What do you think it's about your staff and your team that you guys are able to do that so often?
Well, you take your hat off to the coaching staff. Coming up with a different plan the second half to seeing what's going to work, and from the first half what didn't work. Then you take your hat off to the kids, for executing the plan. So it's a lot of work that go on at halftime.
Do you find yourself still having to build the kids' confidence up, and you often still tell them, hey, the West is still there for the taking?
Well, we show them where they're at. We show them that they're right there in the middle, and they're going to play the #1 team in the West this week. So they still control their own destiny. But, I think their confidence is there right now. They believe that they can win. Just noticing on the flight home after the Purdue game and the look on their face, they were hurt. They were hurt. They were upset that they let that game go. And I got, like I said, I got to do better with them. I got to get them over that hump. But they're a different team. They're a different team.
When did you see that switch flip with them?
Right after the Oklahoma week. after everything settled down for them and they start believing in what we were doing. And so it's right after the Oklahoma week.
One or two more?
What, obviously, this is kind of an obvious question, but what advantage can that crowd on Saturday provide for you based on you guys winning a couple of games, maybe some momentum? What advantage do you think that can provide?
Well, I think, our crowds, we have some of the best fans in the country. And just being loud and being into the game and trying to disrupt their offense and try, where they don't get the clap and what they do on offense, but just being loud and being there to support us.